I hope you are able to see the slide now. Is able to see the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So before I go to this adaptive modulation and coding, is one of the technique which is used to mitigate the narrowband fading. Okay, just let me spend 5 minutes just as a recap of what we have discussed in the morning. Though I summarized it by leaving the class. Mm, yes, who can say what I discussed in the morning on your voluntary basis? Nobody. Nobody is interested to say what I have discussed in the morning. Yes. Mm, so no interaction only. It shows no involvement. So I need to call again by names. I will begin with Madhura only because she has not responded in the morning.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Madhura. Yeah,
Sir, we discussed
yeah,
about
just
diversity, spatial diversity, transmit
okay.
diversity, and coding
Uh,
and interleaving. What are the different codes used in coding techniques used in LT?
okay.
And we also
Then
discussed about automatic repeat requests, sir. Hybrid automatic repeat
okay,
requests also.
okay. So at least you are able to say the titles, topics. Okay, fine. Mm, yes. Then anybody else can share your understanding about each topic. As what Madhura said, I have discussed about spatial diversity, coding and interleaving, then automatic repeat request. So out of these three topics, I think I expect another three students to say in just one or two lines what each technique or how each technique can mitigate the narrowband fading quickly. Yes, see, saying after hearing 1 hour, at least you should take it to home or take it to your mind something, no topic what I discussed. At least you should be able to write one paragraph, right? After hearing class, you'll not be able to do that. I'm not feeling that much of confidence in you people. Yes, Sushmita.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you just say a few words about diversity?
Spatial diversity, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, spatial diversity. Can I say about ARQ? I remember a little bit on ARQ.
Yeah, no issue. You can share. Yes.
So, ARQ automatic repeat request. We told that it is similar to the. If we know how packets are transmitted, it is similar to understand about it,
Yeah.
and we also it is ARQ is also it is a MAC layer retransmission protocol, sir. So where
Very good.
it helps us to exchange the packets
Yeah.
quickly. So
Uh,
and then it is associated with each physical layer, and it checks the parity, sir, so that there is a reliable links on even the hostile channels.
very good. So you're trying to reproduce. Fine. Yeah.
Yes, sir, and it also detects the packet error, sir.
Mm.
It also, yes, sir. Yes, sir, that's much. And we also discussed about hybrid ARQ, which
Okay.
combines the two key concepts
Hmm.
of ARQ and FEC.
Okay.
So, and it like this hybrid ARQ is a channel encoder, sir.
No, no, it is not a channel encoder. It is again a protocol only.
Yes, sir. It like it is
Yeah,
used
it uses
underneath.
ARQ and channel encoding techniques. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you can't say anything about type 1 and type 2 hybrid ARQ.
Sir, is about systematic bits and redundancy bits.
Yeah, that is type 1 ARQ, type 1 hybrid ARQ. That is, we call it as chase combining, no? Chase
Uh,
combining, I said.
yes, sir.
Uh,
So
is it possible to say something about that? Chase
type
combining.
it.
Yeah, I
It sends a
brought the
copy
slide.
of. Yes, sir. You changed the slide, sir. It sends a
Mm,
copy of
mm,
encoded bits identical to its first transmission,
mm.
and it will combine with the received bits with the previous one.
No, the receiver will do the soft combining of the received bits with the previous transmission. Okay, means the
Yes,
first transmission and the previous. It will combine that. Then the encoded bits are the same in all the transmissions, and hence the noise is uncorrelated. So with that, what we can say is the receiver can combine all the transmissions to increase the signal to interference noise ratio. So with that, as I said, with the subsequent transmission, the error probability is reduced, and that process will continue until the receiver is able to decode the information without error. So that is what is happening in chase combining. So in case of type 2 hybrid ARQ, as I said, it is also known as incremental redundancy. Here, the transmitter will change the bits that are punctured during a retransmission. I said already what is the punctured bits, right? Means we are dropping some of the output bits. So dropping of the some of the output bits is known as the puncturing of the bits. Okay, so here what the transmitter will do, it changes the bits that are punctured during retransmission. So with that, for every retransmission, the effective code rate at the receiver will decrease. That will reduce the error probability. Okay, so these are very key and important concepts which we need to understand. Though it is in two sentences, but understanding about this is important. That is why I'm repeating.
yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Add on to that, first you need to tell what ARQ is. Basically, ARQ is a MAC layer retransmission protocol, you should tell. Okay, and it allows erroneous packets to be quickly retransmitted. Erroneous packets, not all packets. Okay,
Okay, sir.
hope you understood. Yeah. Okay, then why do we go for hybrid ARQ? I said there will be wastage of retransmission of the packets in case of ARQ, because even if there is a single bit error, it keeps retransmitting the entire packet. Right? As I said, given an example, out of 100 bits, if 99 bits are correct, only one bit is error, then it will be again retransmitting the entire packet. So that leads to wastage of resource. So to avoid that, we go for hybrid ARQ. What a hybrid ARQ will do, it will combine the concept of ARQ and FEC, right, by combining the received packets. So with that, what it will do is it will be sending only the encoded bits. Okay, only a fraction of the encoded bits, not the entire packet. Hope this is clear.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so that is the catchy point. In what way hybrid ARQ is different from just ARQ is that it will be sending only the fraction of the encoded bits, not the entire packet. By doing so, what happens? It will be able to create the effective code rate greater than the native code rate, we say. After that, what happens here? The transmitter is looking for the acknowledgement from the receiver. Okay, if the receiver is able to decode all the bits properly, then receiver need not send anything to the transmitter, right? If the receiver is not able to decode all the received properly, then it will be sending the information to the transmitter that some error is there, right? In that way, means it looks for acknowledgement. If everything is fine, then only it will be transmitting the next packet, in that sense. Okay. So this is about ARQ. I hope after revision of this much, hope people will be able to write at least one paragraph about ARQ. Then I told about coding and interleaving. Okay. Yes, I think I can expect somebody to say what coding, how coding can mitigate the narrowband fading. Yes, quickly. Any one of you? Yes, Lavanya. Lavanya. ಮಾತಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾರೆ. Yes, what about Meghana? Meghana. Yes, Akshata. Akshata.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can you say how coding can mitigate the narrowband fading?
Yes, sir. This coding, the use of two coding, that is the error correction coding, and which is also known as forward error correction. So it introduces redundancy at the transmitter, which allows the receiver to recover the input signal even when the receiver signal is degraded by many factors like attenuation, interference, noise, and so on. So
Very
so
good.
when the coding rate is less than one, redundancy will be added. So inverse of the redundancy will be added. And here the convolution encoder and vertebrae decoder are used in LTE system. So the
Yeah.
turbo codes are also used, which provides increased the resilience to errors through
Resilience.
interactive decoding.
Resilience is increase resilience.
Yes, resilience, which to the errors through which through the interactive decoding.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Thank you. Okay,
Welcome,
so
sir.
with this background or a revision of the topics what we have discussed in the morning, so let me take up the next one, that is the adaptive modulation and coding. I think this topic means especially this particular concept has been asked every time in the exam. That is why I ask you all to be attentive and try to understand. And since it is a block diagram approach, I think you will be able to write this in the exam. Right? Means what I mean to say is, if you understand the block diagram, I think the rest of the things will be able to write on your own. Okay. What I want to stress is it is important for examination point of view also. Okay. Okay. Fine. LTE employs this adaptive modulation and coding. Okay, to take the advantage of fluctuations in the channel over time and frequency. I mean to say is to overcome the effect of uh, fading, right? So here, what is the idea? The idea is need to transmit as high a data rate as possible when and where the channel is good. I repeat once again, the basic idea of this AMC, that is adaptive modulation and coding, is to transmit as high a data rate as possible when and where the channel is good. Means when the channel, wherever the channel or whenever the channel is good, during that time you try to transmit as much as data as possible. Okay. Then transmit at a lower rate when and where the channel is poor. Okay. So whenever the channel is good, transmit high data rate, and whenever the channel is poor, transmit the data at lower rate, right? So this will avoid the excessive dropped packets by doing so. By doing so, means when the channel is good, we can transmit more number of packets. When channel is poor, transmit less number of packets. By doing so, we will be able to avoid the number of dropped packets. So means when we transmit more number of packets when the channel is poor, then there will be error, right? So we need to again retransmit. So that can be avoided. That is the idea here. Okay. So how do we achieve that? Means how do I means here there is a variations in the data rate, right? So I said whenever the channel is good, you transmit more number of packets. Whenever the channel is poor, transmit less number of packets. Means low data rate, right? How do we do that? So that can be achieved by using, means that is a lower data rates can be achieved by using small constellation. So small constellation means by using low order modulation technique like QPSK. Okay, if I use a QPSK, right, with low error rate correcting codes like maybe a rate of 1/3 turbo codes, I will be able to do that. Means I can reduce the. You all know how much QPSK can support the data rate, right? It is how many bits? One symbol can transmit 2 bits of information, right? In QPSK. If I go for, so that can be done when the channel is poor, right? So when the channel is good, so what is the modulation technique we can opt? You have to go for higher order modulation technique like QAM. In the again QAM, there are a variety of QAMs, right? 8 QAM, 16, 32, 64, like that, right? So I can opt for 64 QAM, right? And maybe during that time, the error correcting codes, maybe with lower error correcting codes I can use because the channel is good. So I don't have to use an error code which is more robust, right? I can use a higher order modulation, means bigger constellation size with less robust error correcting codes. By doing so, I will be able to achieve that. Hope the thing is clear what I said. Yeah. So to sum up this, the basic idea of this adaptive modulation and coding is whenever the channel is good, wherever the channel is good, transmit as much possible of data is possible. You can transmit, means you can transmit more number of packets. What I mean to say is high data rate can be transmitted. So whenever the channel is poor, you try to transmit less number of packets, means you have to reduce the data rate, right? So how do I do this? How can I increase the data rate and how can I reduce the data rate? That is based on selecting the type of modulation. In general, what we say is selecting this constellation size. You all know what is signal constellation diagram and all, studied very well in the previous semester, that is in 6th semester, right? So I said lower data rate can be achieved using QPSK modulation. In that case, means I said when the channel is poor, I need to use lower order modulation, but I need to use high robust error correcting codes, right? And when the channel is good, use higher order modulation technique like 64 QAM and even higher version of that. Then use a low robust code because the channel is good. You don't have to use high robust code, error correcting codes. Fine. So that is done in case of adaptive modulation and coding. So that is the key concept here. So to begin with the explanation of this block diagram, what I can say is, yeah. So how do we perform this adaptive modulation coding is the transmitter. So I hope you are able to see now what is there in transmitter side and what is there in the receiver side. Between transmitter and receiver there is a channel, right? I hope you all will be able to see this block diagram. I think some of the people can read out the blocks. Those who are unable to open up their mouth, no, I expect them to open up their mouth and say what the blocks are there in this AMC system, that is adaptive modulation and coding. Yes, quickly, I think it is very clear block diagram. Yes, at least I'm sharing the slide. I'm asking you people to unmute and read. That also not possible to do. I want to be more interactive rather than being passive and keep saying from my side. Yes, quickly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
ECC encoder.
Yeah. What is that ECC, ma?
Hmm.
So difficult to say. There is error correction code. Error
Error
correction code. Okay. ECC encoder.
Yes.
Fine. Yeah. Next. What is the next block is there in a transmitter? Array, what is this? After showing block diagram in the slide, I'm asking just to read the name of the blocks. Even for reading name of the blocks, people are struggling. Yes, my dear students, unmute and
Symbol mapper.
symbol mapper. Very good. Okay, next block is what?
Power control, sir.
Power control. Okay. So in the transmitter side, first block is the error correction codes, right? Encoder. It may be a conventional convolutional encoder or it may be a turbo encoder, right? Then symbol mapper. Symbol mapper is nothing but what? It is a modulation techniques. Okay. Then power control. See, for all these things here, what is written? Adaptive modulation and coding controller is there. So here is a controller block, right? So these are the transmitter side. So for that input is what? The information bits, right? So which are there in the queue. Input says bits, information bits. It will pass through these three blocks. Then here there is a channel, right? And I have written here signal to interference noise ratio. Okay. Then the receiver side, what are the blocks are there? First block is what? Yes, receiver side.
Demodulation.
Yeah, demodulation, then a decoder, right? Then output of the decoder will be the desired bits, right? So here from the demodulator, there is a block called channel estimation, right? So from channel estimation, the feedback is given to the transmitter side. That is, it is connected to the adaptive modulation and coding controller. Okay. So we say this is a feedback channel. So it will give information about the packet error rate, okay, and as well as the signal to interference noise ratio. So to understand this means based on the signal to interference noise ratio value, right? So I get the demodulated signal, right? So the channel estimation will intimate to the transmitter about the value of SINR. So if the SINR is large, means whether the channel is good or bad, signal to interference noise ratio is high. During that time, what we understand whether the channel is good or channel is bad or poor.
Good.
Yeah, channel is good, right? Because the signal to interference noise ratio means signal ratio is more. So what the transmitter will understand, now the channel is good, let me transmit more number of packets. How it is possible? So here there is a controller, right? Adaptive modulation coding controller, I said. So this controller will change the type of code and as well as the signal constellation, right? Select constellation I have written, right? So it will change the signal constellation or constellation size of the modulator. That is from QPSK2, it may change to 16 QAM or 64 QAM. Okay, accordingly, even power also, right? It may send more power because channel is good, so that it can set more number of bits, right? And if the signal to interference noise ratio is less than some threshold value, let us assume, right? During that time, what the transmitter will understand means this channel estimation will send the value of SINR to the transmitter, to this adaptive modulation coding control. So when it understands that the SINR is less, the channel is poorer, right? Then what it has to do? It has to change the error correction coding also, then it has to change the signal constellation size. That is, if it is using 64 QAM, it has to reduce to 60 QAM, that is QPSK, right? Or even 16 QAM also. Then it has to take care of the power also. Like that, it will be having a feedback mechanism from transmitter to the receiver, that is from receiver to the transmitter, so that it can do the rate variation in the transmission of the signal. Hope understood this concept. Yes.
Yes, sir.
It is very simple, very simple to understand if you make your mind. Yes, hope it is clear. It is very easy to understand also. If you are clear with the block diagram, what is there in transmitter, what is there in receiver. So transmitter, what we need to have? We need to have error correction code encoder, symbol mapper, power control, right? Then there will be adaptive modulation and coding controller. So it will control. Means the purpose. See, controller is what? It will be able to control the. Means it is possible to select the type of code and possible to select the constellation size, and it is possible to vary the power also, right? So that is based on what information it will do. It will do the based on the value of signal to interference noise ratio. How the transmitter will come to know the value of SINR, that will be fed from the receiver, okay, through channel estimator. Okay, hope clear. Yes, I'm asking, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
If you spend 5 minutes, you will be able to definitely write one page of information about this. If you write the block diagram properly, I hope if you understand this block diagram, then explaining about this what's working is not a problem, I feel. Okay, so just that one only I have written here, whatever I told so far, right? I said the LTE system employs adaptive modulation and coding in order to take the advantage of fluctuations in the channel over time and frequency. I said, what is the idea? It will be transmitting as high a data rate as possible when and where the channel is good, and it will be transmitting at a lower rate when and where the channel is poor, in order to avoid the excessive dropped packets, right? So the lower data rate is achieved by using small constellation such as QPSK, and as well as low rate error correcting codes such as 1/3 turbo codes. Then high data rates are achieved by using larger constellations like 64 QAM with less robust error correcting codes like 3/4 rate codes. There are punched turbo codes, what we can say. Okay, so to perform this adaptive modulation coding, the transmitter must have some knowledge of the instantaneous channel gain. So that is done by the channel estimator, and it will intimate the transmitter. So once it does, it can choose the modulation technique that will achieve the highest possible data rate while meeting the required bit error rate or packet error rate requirement. Okay. Okay, just it is an alternative objective, means it has to pick the modulation and our coding combination that will maximize the successful throughput. Okay, so the formula for that is this: maximum BR of 1 minus packet error rate, where B is log m with base 2. You all know m is the alphabet size or constellation size, right? Yeah, so the goal of the transmitter is to transmit data from its queue as rapidly as possible, subject to the data being demodulated and decoded reliably at the receiver side. but feedback is very critical for this adaptive modulation and coding. So the transmitter needs to know the channel signal to interference noise ratio, which is defined as what? The received SINR divided by the transmit power. Yeah, just here there is a diagram which will just, it is an what I can say, practical example of this AMC, is adaptive modulation and coding. Means how do they switch over to different constellation and different coding rate also. Able to see this diagram? Yes.
sir.
Yeah. So what you are able to see here is throughput is y-axis. Okay, throughput is y-axis, that is bits per second per hertz we say. That is the measurement of the throughput unit. BPS per hertz. BPS per hertz. So it is written from 0 to 5. That is the maximum achievable throughput. And x-axis is SINR. Okay, signal to interference noise ratio. So here first thing is QPSK with a rate code of 1/2. So with that, when SINR is 4 dB, the maximum achievable throughput is 1 bits per second per hertz, 1 BPS per hertz. Hope you're understanding. When signal to interference noise ratio is a 4 dB, okay, with this QPSK modulation and that error correction code with a rate of 1/2, we are able to achieve a throughput of 1 BPS per hertz, 1 bit per second per hertz. This is what the diagram says. Okay. So when SINR is increasing, right? So still with the same QPSK, here error correcting code is rate is changed with R is that is coding rate is 3/4. We are able to achieve slightly more than 1 BPS per hertz, right? I think it is around 1.5 BPS something. Then see here, when SINR is 10 dB, right? The modulation technique has been changed from QPSK to 16 QAM, but the error correcting code used is with a code rate of 1/2. With that, we are able to achieve around 2 BPS, right? With this line, 2 BPS per hertz. That is the throughput. Then see, when SINR is 14 dB, with the same modulation, that is 16 QAM only, but the code rate is changed, right? Now the code rate is 3/4. With that, we are able to achieve around 3 BPS per hertz, 3 bits per second per hertz, right? So now when SINR is even 16 dB, right? So the achievable throughput is around 4 BPS per hertz with a code rate of 2/3 it is. So when it is 20 dB SINR, so maximum we can achieve the throughput is 4.5 BPS. There is a 4.5 BPS per hertz is the throughput which we can achieve with a modulation 64 QAM and coding rate of 3/4. Okay, so this is how the modulation will change and coding rate will change. And here we have used only some of the coding rates, right? Only 1/2 and 3/4, not any other value. What would be the reason? Any one of you can say? Is it possible to say why? Means see, QPSK 1/2 is used, right? And QPSK 3/4 is used, but QPSK 2/3 is not used. Of understanding QPSK modulation, these are the two coding rates we are using, 1/2 and 3/4. So 2/3 is not used. So what is the reason? Is it possible to think and say? And another diagram, no? This line. So this is the Shannon limit. So you all know what the Shannon limit or formula is. That is the channel capacity, which is that is the theoretical maximum throughput which we can achieve. Okay, that is C is equal to log of 1 plus signal to interference noise ratio with base 2. There is a formula for channel capacity. Okay, So with the Shannon limit, what he said is around when SINR is around 14 dB, the maximum achievable throughput is 5 bits per second per hertz, 5 bps. Okay, so this is the theoretical Shannon limit theorem, theoretical achievable throughput, which is specified by the Shannon. Hope this line is clear and this one is clear. How the channel means how the modulation technique and coding rate keeps changing as SINR improves. Yes, you could understand this diagram.
Yes, sir.
It is very easy, but if you don't make your mind, then you may feel something, it is not my cup of tea, like that. Nothing. It's very simple plot what I can say, right? Throughput versus SINR. So please try to understand, to achieve higher throughput, I need to go for higher cancellation size, that is with 64 QAM. This is just an example what it is taken here. With a code rate of 3/4, we are able to achieve a throughput of 4.5 bps per hertz. Okay. Okay, just I am leaving it to you people. Think about other code rate, and even you may be asking, okay, 32 QAM is missing, right? And other code rate I said, na 2/3 of QPSK is not used. Why and all? Fine. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this slides here, what I wanted to say is how that tuning the adaptive modulation and coding controller will happen, right? So tuning the adaptive modulation and coding controller, that plays an important role, na, in case of AMC, right? You all agree with me? Adaptive modulation and coding controller plays a key role in adaptive modulation and coding for tuning the cancellation size, selecting the error correction code, and as well as power. Yes or no? So how does it will do? So a key challenge in adaptive modulation and coding is to efficiently control these three different quantities at once. Right? Means what are those three quantities? One is the transmit power, second one is the transmit rate, or we say cancellation size, and third one is the coding rate. So all these three things has to be controlled at once, right? Okay. So it is a challenge for the engineers, right, to develop a algorithm which will fine tune the all these parameters at once, right? So then what are those parameters which we need to consider for fine tuning these three parameters? For that, so these are the parameters which I mentioned here. One is the packet error rate and received signal to interference noise ratio. So what happens here is, in adaptive modulation theory, the transmitter needs only to know the statistics and instantaneous channel signal to interference noise ratio, right? So from the channel signal to interference noise ratio, it can determine what is the optimum coding or modulation strategy and the transmit power. Fine. So this is one parameter which we need to consider, means SINR, right? So depending upon the value of SINR, as I already said, it can change the coding and as well as modulation and power. The second thing is ARQ, we say, that is automatic repeat request. So ARQ allows the rapid retransmissions, and hybrid ARQ will increase the packet error rate operating point. I said it is by a factor of around 10. Okay. The next one is the power control. Okay. So power control is one of the very important issue which we need to understand. And See, the best power control policy for the capacity of parallel channels, either over time or frequency, what we call is the water filling strategy. Okay, so it is a most widely used and known technique. It is water filling theorem also we say, or water filling strategy. Okay, so what it will do here is it will give more power. Okay, more power will be allocated to the strong channels and less power will be allocated to the weak channels. That is the water filling strategy. Okay, the next one is the adaptive modulation in OFDMA. So in case of OFDMA, each user will be allocated a block of subcarriers. I hope you have some idea about OFDM, right? Orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, right? So it is a multiple access technique. It is OFDMA. So as I said, each user will be allocated a block of subcarriers. Okay, and each of which will have the different set of signal to interference noise ratio. Each subcarrier will have a different set of SINRs. So we need to take care of which constellation or coding set is chosen based on the varying value of SINR across the subcarriers. So that is the challenge, right? So these are the few parameters which the engineer has to look into it for fine tuning the adaptive modulation and coding controller. Okay, so any questions to ask about this? As I said, this is the formula for what? Achieving the throughput. So normalized by the bandwidth, that is what? T is equal to 1 minus packet error rate R into log m with base 2 bits per second per hertz. And as I said, this is the Shannon's capacity theorem, channel capacity theorem, that is C is equal to log of 1 plus signal to interference noise ratio with base 2. Okay, these two things are shown in this diagram. Yes, any questions you have to ask? Understood what is AMC? Yes, understood what is AMC, I'm asking. Nobody is there? What network is there or not? Yes, people are with me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if no questions, then let me take up the next topic. Okay, that is broadband mitigation. Okay, mitigation of broadband fading. So let me. Yes, any questions? I'm asking. Yes, Vandana, Aman Sharma, Ishwarya, you can unmute, na? Mute it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, would you like to say something, Aman Sharma?
No, sir.
Yes, what about Vandana? Yes, Vandana. Yes, Vandana should speak. So nothing to say. Okay, so is it possible to summarize any one of you? Siri, can you say a few words about this AMC? Siri.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you just sum up this topic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just a minute, sir. So the LTE system uses AMC in order to take advantage because there is fluctuation in the channel over the time and the frequency. So here what exactly it does is it transmits as a high data rate, and then the transmitter, when it is at a low data rate, the channel is poor, and in order to avoid that, the lower data rate are achieved by using a small constellation, that is by using a QPSK and a low.
No, serious, interrupt you. Now, the idea is what? It has to transmit as high data rate as possible when the channel is good.
Yes, sir.
You are missing that point. You didn't say when the channel is good, it has to transmit more.
Yes, sir.
And when the channel is full, it has to transmit less.
Yes, yes, sir.
But next you are saying to avoid that, you are saying.
Okay.
Not to avoid means how to avoid the excess dropped packets when the channel is poor, right? So it has to vary the data rate, right?
Correct, sir.
Means it has to vary the cancellation size, coding rate, and other things. Yeah, then I think continue. Hope I corrected you. You understood what I said.
No, yes, sir. I put it in a wrong manner, but you corrected it.
So when the channel is good, it has to transmit more number of packets, or
Hmm.
right when the channel is poor, it has to transmit less number of packets.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, I wanted to
yeah, okay.
continue the same thing, whatever you told
Yeah,
that thing, sir.
yeah, fine. Then, yeah, with respect to block diagram, you should tell now how does it means how AMC, that is adaptive modulation and coding controller, will change the coding rate, then cancellation size and power based on what value. I kept the block diagram. At least looking at the block diagram, I think we should be able to say based on what value it can take a decision to control to vary those things. It's not able to see. Yes, Siri.
Sir, you can't hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear now.
Yes, sir. Um,
Yeah, I am asking you how that adaptive modulation and coding controller will be able to change the coding rate, cancellation size, and power based on what value?
the so the transmit power and the transmit rate and the coding rate can be used, sir.
See the block diagram, na? See, it is very clearly written, na? See feedback channel, right? Hope you are able to see this block diagram.
No, sir, I'm not able to see.
You're not able to see my slide.
I am not able to see, sir. Maybe it is because of my network issues, but I don't know about the others.
Uh-huh. What about others?
It's
Yes, I am
visible.
asking other student. Visible, no? Okay, I said, see, the receiver will give a feedback to the transmitter about its signal to interference noise ratio and as well as the packet error rate. So based on that, the adaptive modulation and coding controller will be able to select the proper error correction code and write cancellation size and power also. So that is important here. Okay. So channel, that is signal to interference noise ratio and packet error rate. That
Because
will be
the
intimate.
SI the value can be determined, no, sir?
Yeah. Yes, ma. Then what else? Is that fine? Yes, Siri, is that fine? Okay, stop talking, chatting only. Yeah. Okay, fine. I think Hope understood the concept of adaptive modulation and coding. So
Yes, sir.
with this, let me stop and let me take the attendance.